This is my best character in Watch Dogs Legion, and this is his wrench. He has two abilities that I use all the time. He can call a jacuzzi-sized construction drone to drop into any open area in the city, and a big ol' wrench, baby. And you use it to just beat the crap out of people. I have a dozen characters to choose from, but I keep using Wrench Guy and a cop that I turned over to my side. Her best ability is a gun. Not some kind of future gun that shoots nano drones or smart blood. It just shoots bullets. For a game based on the premise that the rapid advancement of technology will lead to unforeseen consequences, the most effective weapons in the game shouldn't be a wrench and a gun. This game tells you incredible things are possible, but all too often I've found the best solution was the most pedestrian one. In other words, you'll find a character, tool, or ability that works in the limited collection of scenarios that the game puts you into, and you can check off all the markers on the map after that. I bought Watch Dogs Legion because I sometimes get sick of Vikings and mythology and axes and Spartans. Crawling through dirt to look for a new shin guard can get repetitive. This game promised a world where any NPC could be recruited to your team and become part of the game's story. Using systemically generated characters with a variety of abilities, the game would add depth and variety as the player gave hope to everyday people. It's a satisfying pitch. Inserting the structure into the Watch Dogs universe, there's an opportunity to make a very timely statement about the power that's been gradually handed over to multinational technology companies and the implications for privacy and authoritarianism. There's an opportunity to satirize, skewer, or even defend, to take on the concept of technological determinism and show that instead, regular people can and would take back control of their lives after a sober look at what's been sacrificed over the years. And while the writers of this game will constantly remind you that the world is on the brink of dystopian collapse in cutscenes, London seems strangely fine as you casually steal a car or fast travel between tube stations. Like an episode of Black Mirror, special missions will explore some aspect of the connection between humans and technology. But your casual movements through the city are downright breezy. You can go hang out in a pub and play some darts whenever you want, with whoever you want. You'll see some protests on the street and armed guards, but by today's standards of mall cop security theater, COVID lockdowns, and travel bans, it feels like these future fascists have got some catching up to do when it comes to everyday oppression. Instead, what defines this game is some very conventional sneaking, hacking, and shooting. When it comes to new features, the best addition is the spider drone. Replacing the hopping, rolling drone from Watch Dogs 2, the spider drone animation brings more attitude to the game than any character, whether a scripted ally or generated teammate. I have to give kudos to someone at Ubisoft because they infused one of the lamest robots with the theme of the game. Just because technology is ubiquitous doesn't mean it's serving your best interests. That helpful spider bot is, on second look, an insidious monster. I want the origin story of these things, and I want the Watch Dogs crew to destroy them. It looks like Boston Dynamics won, and the lesson the world needs to learn is, don't trust these things, or else. But the theme or origins of the spider bots are never explored. They're taken for granted as a game mechanic, and in fact, the drones are surprisingly limited. Spider drones can hack certain terminals, but they can't untie hostages. They can be upgraded, but only to enhance their sneaking or takedowns. In this mission, I have to run in with my human character and then lead the NPC out the door. It's like they want us to remember that there is a human character behind this. To which I say, fuck the boring humans, I want an army of drones. I want drones with knives, I want drones that stick to ceilings, I want toilet drones, transforming drones, and dancing drones. Maybe that's a little wacky, but it would reflect the theme of the game. As it stands, drones are siloed into a nerfed gameplay tool. These tools don't overlap with the themes of the game, or the characters, or the story in a satisfying way. Watch Dogs Legion illustrates the limits of its imagination by literally sectioning off and highlighting mission areas. Just hack a camera or two to see your objective, then send in your character. For a game about technology with a city-wide operating system, these buildings aren't even connected to one another in a meaningful way. This really is no open world. Watch Dogs Legion isn't a sandbox. It's more like a box in a box in a box. But there is one ability from one character that made me think they were on the right track. Clear the Way came with one of the characters that I adopted into my crew. The Watch Dogs series has had the ability to disrupt roads by erecting barriers since the original. Legion added this wrinkle. Control these connected vehicles en masse and clear them from the roads like you're parting the Red Sea. In my mind, a light went off. They hit on something there, and it spoke to the theme of the game and the power that the player characters should possess. The real power of technology is not hacking one camera at a time to scout a room. It's not seeing that an NPC has a certain secret fetish. Technology is its most powerful in the background. Like the algorithms that determine what we see on social media, technology can shape lives while barely being noticed. Until, one day, the rug is pulled out. There's arguably no better medium than video games to demonstrate how the subversion of technology would impact our world on a massive scale. When all the drones go haywire, all the auto-driving cars shut down, and all the lines of communication are cut, the willing adopter realizes, I've made a huge mistake. It wouldn't make any sense for these things to happen in Grand Theft Auto 5, but in Watch Dogs Legion, it would make a lot of sense if all the tech in the world suddenly, inexplicably stopped working. But then the foundations of this very rigidly structured game would fall apart. The biggest hint of this game's limited ambitions are in its menus. The map, the mission screen, the limited character abilities, they're all right there to be reviewed and upgraded. There's logic, there's strategy, but there's little room for creativity. There's no uncovering, no discovery, just picking the right tool for a particular situation and going to work. I mean, look! Tech points are just lying on the ground for you to pick up. You don't get new abilities by hacking or stealing tech. The tech points to unlock new abilities are just lying on the ground. My brief attempts at innovation were stifled. This game just can't do that kind of thing. I put a spider drone on a construction drone and I flew the construction drone to another area, using the existing tools in a creative way to make something new. The aha moment that shows the developers thought of everything and built it into the game. I keep trying to do whole missions as a drone, scouting the area, finding the best path, sneaking past guards, taking them down if necessary, and completing the objective. But the game kept making me go back to the human characters who don't have complete storylines or full skill sets because the game doesn't know how long you're going to keep them around. You can't switch between characters quickly or easily to help accomplish a mission. You know, work together as a unit. Instead, when it comes to completing missions, your character is completely on their own. That doesn't make me feel like I've got an awesome team of agents ready to be called on. It might be cool if the character had some connection to the part of the city they were recruited in, and they had some special control of that region. That would give you a reason to expand your team in different regions and explain why you can't just call up anybody mid-mission. Instead, Wrench Guy can smack down security guards in Camden just as well as he can in Westminster. But I can be a level-grinding, gun-shooting, punch-throwing human in any game. I want to be a smart water cooler. I want to be an evil Tamagotchi. If drones are so common in this city, why would an enemy NPC care about a drone strolling by on its own accord? Instead, this sets off alarms and puts you back into hiding. Whatever. Just call Wrench Guy. Let's ignore the fact that I'm playing Breath of the Wild right now and make it a fair fight. Let's compare this game to something with similar open-world aspirations. Just Cause 4. Just Cause 4 doesn't have the deepest story, but its factories are made out of flammable materials, and it gives you a rocket launcher, a jet, and a parachute. The game doesn't need to say much. Just go fucking wild. In Just Cause 4, if you want to get to that next unexplored area, just call a helicopter down from the sky. They don't care at all. Use these balloons and the ship and make yourself a sky pirate. Just Cause 4 presents its world as a problem you can solve, not just mud that you're stuck in. JC4 is wacky. It's about a madman building a weather machine and liberating a fictional country. There's monster trucks and this wingsuit is awesome. I could go on. The missions are generic, sure, but they're fast-paced and silly. And if you get bored, you can just jet on to the next thing and jump out of the plane whenever you want. It's open world in the best way because if you can imagine it, you can probably do it. Meanwhile, in futuristic London, you've got to keep your drone on a leash or the Wi-Fi will disconnect. For Watch Dogs Legion, I would recommend a long look in the mirror. In the words of I Think You Should Leave, find out what you do. Go in on drones, go in on secret identities for average citizens. Make the next Watch Dogs world a real nightmare. It would be a disservice to evaluate Watch Dogs Legion like it was a tech demo. The systems created for this game might be a component of all future Ubisoft games, increasing NPC variety and consistency. But I'm sure there were people who were psyched to buy this game for full price on day one. Unfortunately, I think it was something of an experiment to see if systemic storytelling and missions could be the engine of a full Ubisoft-sized game. But leaving elements of storytelling up to a system and a shrug can't compete with thoughtful narratives that weave themes and world together. Bland missions in generic office buildings don't hold a candle to quests that challenge the player's creativity and problem solving by putting them in unique situations with fantastic powers. The lesson that could be learned is that when it comes to building a better world, don't leave it up to the machines.